Souls who crave the strange, let me lead you to a sacred place in southern England where giant stones have stood for millennia, defying our understanding of the past. Stonehenge. In the vast Salisbury Plain, this ancient stone monument stands like a silent guardian, carrying secrets from the dawn of human history. Who created this magnificent circle of stones? How did they do it, and for what purpose? Was it an observatory for contemplating the cosmos, a sacred temple for ancient rituals, or something beyond our imagination? Each stone at Stonehenge is a whisper from the past, a question that echoes endlessly through the flow of time. Let your imagination run wild, and listen to the echoes of ancient stones, for we are about to embark on an adventure through time, to a place where myth and truth blend. To all those souls who have ever gazed up at the night sky, wondering about the vastness of the universe and man's place in it, listen to the call from an ancient land in the south of England. There, in the middle of the lush green Salisbury Plain, a towering stone structure has stood there for 4,500 years, silently witnessing the passage of time, the rise and fall of empires, and the constant development of mankind. That is Stonehenge, one of the greatest and most mysterious prehistoric wonders on the planet. From a distance, Stonehenge appears as a giant circle of simple, rough stones. But as you get closer, its grandeur and complexity become apparent. These stones are not just pebbles. They are giant sarsen blocks, up to 9 meters high and weighing up to 25 tons, standing upright, and some are joined together by horizontal bars, forming majestic trilithons. Inside the sarsen circle is another circle of smaller stones, called bluestones, weighing between 2 and 4 tons each. The entire structure is surrounded by a circular moat and bank, along with a ceremonial road leading straight to the northeast, aligned with the rising sun on the summer solstice. So how could a group of Neolithic people, thousands of years ago, without sophisticated metal tools or efficient wheels, move and erect such huge blocks of stone? This is the first and most fundamental question that Stonehenge poses, challenging the minds of modern engineers and archaeologists. What motivated them, primitive people, to invest such a huge amount of labor, over hundreds, even thousands of years, to build such a monumental structure? But that question is only the beginning. The greatest mystery of Stonehenge lies in its true purpose. Was it an ancient astronomical observatory? Many scholars have pointed to the precise alignment of Stonehenge with the points of the summer solstice sunrise and winter solstice sunset. Were the builders talented astronomers who deciphered the cycles of the celestial bodies and built this structure to track the sky, to calculate the seasons, the timing of festivals, or even to predict cosmic phenomena? Or was it a sacred place of worship, a great temple? Given its size and complexity, Stonehenge may have been a religious center, where important ceremonies were held, sacrifices were made to the gods, or communication with the spirit world was made. Excavations have found human remains and traces of large feasts, suggesting that ritual activities took place here, or is it something else, beyond our imagination? Some of the more daring theories suggest that Stonehenge could have been a place of healing, a memorial to ancestors, a symbol of power from a lost empire, or even a structure connected to supernatural forces or aliens. Stonehenge is not a single monument. It is part of a larger landscape, including hundreds of burial mounds, earthen circles, and other prehistoric sites, all clustered around this area. This shows the special importance of Salisbury Plain to prehistoric people, a place carefully chosen for great purposes. When we look at Stonehenge, we see more than just stones. We see a whisper from a lost world, an echo from ancient minds who once looked up at the starry sky and tried to find meaning in their existence. It is a powerful testimony to the intelligence, perseverance, and ambition of human beings. Even at the dawn of civilization, this part 1 is just an introduction, a window into the strange and mysterious world of Stonehenge. Together we will trace the traces of archaeological evidence, scientific hypotheses, and even folk legends, trying to piece together the fragments of a story lost in the mists of time. Let your imagination run wild, and listen to the echoes of the ancient stones, as we embark on an adventure through time, to a place where myth and truth merge. Can we ever decipher the secrets of Stonehenge, or will it forever remain a puzzle to human intellect? Dear souls who have admired the majesty of Stonehenge, let us now delve into the story of the minds and hands that created this wonder. Stonehenge was not built overnight, but was a colossal project that spanned thousands of years, carried out over generations, by anonymous stonemasons of prehistoric times. The history of Stonehenge's construction is divided into several main phases, starting around 3000 BC and lasting until around 1500 BC. 1. Phase 1. Around 3000 BC, the earth and moat era. The structure started out not as stone, but as earth. The ancients dug a huge circular moat about 110 meters in diameter, surrounding a high bank of earth. Inside this circle, there are 56 small circular holes, called Aubrey's holes, after archaeologist John Aubrey. The purpose of these holes remains a mystery, possibly for erecting wooden posts, small stones, or as burial sites. Even at this stage, Stonehenge took on the appearance of a structure with ceremonial or astronomical significance, oriented to the rising sun in the summer. 2. Phase 2, circa 2900 to 2500 BC. The age of wood and cremation. During this period, evidence suggests that some of the Aubrey pits may have been used to bury the deceased. Numerous traces of cremation and human bones have been found, making Stonehenge a large cemetery for a time. At the same time, complex timber structures may have been erected in or around the circle, suggesting multi-purpose structures, possibly temporary housing or ceremonial structures. 3. Phase 3, circa 2500 BC onwards. The age of the giants. This is the most impressive and puzzling phase. The stonework was erected, going through several smaller phases. Old bluestone circle, smaller bluestones, weighing 2 to 4 tons, were brought from a great distance. Arranged in a double circle or horseshoe shape, O sarsen circle, about 80 giant sarsen stones, weighing up to 25 tons each, were transported. 30 blocks were erected in a large circle, topped with 30 horizontal stone bars forming a continuous ring. Inside the sarsen circle are 5 trilithons, 3 stones, including 2 vertical blocks and 1 horizontal block on top, arranged in a horseshoe shape, facing the rising sun on the summer solstice. Now, let's talk about the stones. Stonehenge used 2 main types of stones, Sassen stones. These are a type of silicified sandstone, very hard and durable. Their origin has been determined to be from the West Woods, an area about 25 to 30 kilometers north of Stonehenge, near Marlborough. Moving stones weighing up to 25 to 30 tons over such a short distance was an extraordinary feat for Neolithic people. They must have used a system of rolling on wooden trunks, sliding on wooden boards lubricated with animal fat, and using human and animal power, if available, along with a system of levers and ramps, bluestones. This is the biggest logistical mystery. Geological studies have determined that the origin of these bluestones is from the Preseli Mountains in Pembrokeshire, West Wales, more than 250 kilometers from Stonehenge. This was an incredible distance for the technology of the time. Theories about how they transported these 2 to 4 ton stones have baffled scientists, all overland, dragging overland across many rivers and rugged mountainous terrain. A near impossible task, sea and river routes. A more likely theory is that they dragged the stones from the Preseli to the coast, loaded them onto large rafts or primitive sailing boats, then transported them along the Welsh coast, around the headlands of Cornwall, and finally up the Avon or other tributaries, and dragged them onto Salisbury Plain. Even this would have required extraordinary organization, navigational skills, and engineering, natural factors. Some scientists have even theorized that the bluestones may have been transported near Salisbury by glaciers during the last ice age. However, geological evidence does not strongly support this hypothesis, and archaeologists favor the possibility that humans moved them directly. So who built Stonehenge? They were anonymous, leaving no written records or names. However, based on archaeological evidence, we can sketch a portrait of them, Neolithic farmers. They were not nomadic hunter-gatherers. This was a settled society, capable of organizing large-scale labor, producing surpluses to feed the hundreds, even thousands, of people who participated in this massive construction project. Probably a confederation of tribes. The scale of the project and the complexity of the transportation of the bluestone suggest that this was not the work of a single tribe. It may have been a confederation of tribes from across southern England and even Wales, working together for a common goal. Motivated by religious beliefs, political power, or both, great architects and engineers, although they had no machinery, they possessed an incredible knowledge of physics, geometry, and astronomy. They knew how to select stones, quarry them, transport them, and erect them with incredible precision, aligning them with important astronomical events. Moving and erecting these massive stones required not only physical strength but also rigorous organization, detailed planning, and a will that lasted hundreds of years. What motivated these prehistoric people to devote their lives to such a monumental project? Perhaps it was a strong belief in the purpose of Stonehenge, a deep reverence for the supernatural or the cycles of nature. These anonymous stonemasons left behind a great legacy, an enduring mystery, that continues to inspire us to seek answers about their wisdom and aspirations. They created a work that transcends time, an eternal whisper of stone. Souls who have admired the construction of the anonymous stonemasons with us, we now turn our eyes to the heavens, where one of the most intriguing theories about Stonehenge is revealed. Was it a great ancient observatory where prehistoric people deciphered the dance of the stars? For centuries, people have been puzzled by the seemingly random arrangement of the giant stones. However, in the 18th century and especially from the mid-20th century, archaeoastronomers began to realize a surprising truth: Stonehenge was built with incredible astronomical precision. The most obvious and famous evidence is the alignment of Stonehenge with the summer and winter solstice suns. Summer solstice sun, around June 21st. If you stand in the center of the stone circle at dawn on the summer solstice, you will see the sun rise directly over the heel stone outside the circle, the first light of the day shining directly into the center of the monument. This is the longest day of the year, marking the beginning of summer. Winter solstice sun, around December 21st. Conversely, at sunset on the winter solstice, the shortest day of the year, the setting sun aligns with the largest of the Sossin stones, the majestic trilithons in the southwest of the circle. This precise alignment cannot be accidental. It required a deep understanding of the sun's cycle, the ability to make precise astronomical observations, and mathematical skills to orient the structure. This suggests that the builders of Stonehenge may have used it as a giant astronomical calendar, helping them track the seasons, predict important times for agriculture, planting, harvesting, and organize religious festivals according to the cycles of nature. In addition to the sun, some researchers have suggested that Stonehenge may have been used to track the phases of the moon. The Aubrey pits, 56 circular pits in the first ring of the moat, have been proposed as a form of lunar calendar, possibly tracking the 18.6-year cycle of the moon. While this hypothesis is more controversial than the solar alignment, it does open up the possibility of a much more complex astronomical observation system. What does the construction of such a massive structure for astronomical purposes say about these prehistoric people? They were primitive scientists. They were not mere stonemasons. They were sky watchers who recognized the laws of the universe and sought to record them. They may have passed this knowledge down through the generations, creating a class of astronomers or astropriests within their society, knowledge of mathematics and geometry. To position the giant stones with such precision, they must have had a considerable knowledge of geometry, direction, and possibly even primitive mathematics. This work is a living testament to the superior intellectual abilities of prehistoric humans, connection with the natural world and the gods. For ancient agricultural cultures, the cycles of the sun and moon were crucial to survival. Tracking them was not only scientific, but also had deep spiritual significance, helping them understand the will of the gods and maintain harmony with the universe. Stonehenge may have been a place where people tried to connect with supernatural forces through understanding the sky. The theory that Stonehenge was an observatory changes the way we think about the capabilities of prehistoric humans. It suggests that they were not savages living in caves, but rather people with high intelligence, organizational skills, and a deep curiosity about the world around them. They saw patterns in the eternal dance of the stars and sought to record them with their indestructible stones. But was Stonehenge simply an observatory? Or did it have other purposes, woven into beliefs, rituals, and life and death? The echoes from the stones may tell us much more. Souls who have joined us in contemplating the astronomical wisdom of the builders of Stonehenge, we now enter into another, perhaps even more profound aspect, its role as a spiritual center, a sacred temple where life and death were intertwined in ancient rituals. If Stonehenge was simply an observatory, why was such a huge amount of labor invested in moving the giant stones from a distance? Surely there must have been a deeper purpose, a powerful spiritual and social significance that motivated the prehistoric community. 1. Stonehenge as a graveyard and ancestral veneration site. One of the most notable discoveries at Stonehenge is the large number of human remains found, particularly in the Aubrey pits and around the moat. Studies have determined that these are cremated remains, dating back to the earliest stages of the construction, circa 3000 to 2500 BC. This makes Stonehenge one of the largest Neolithic cemeteries in Britain. The burial of the dead at such an important site suggests that Stonehenge may have been a place of ancestral veneration, a memorial to those who had great influence in the community. Perhaps only special people, chieftains, priests, or people of high status were honored to be buried here. The presence of these remains gives the impression that Stonehenge was not just a place to look up to the sky, but also a place to connect with the world below, with ancestors and roots. 2. Community Ceremonial and Festival Center. Stonehenge does not stand alone. It is part of a larger archaeological complex on the Salisbury Plain, which includes Woodhenge, a larger wooden circle, located about 3 kilometers northeast of Stonehenge, believed to be of similar age and related purpose. It is possible that Woodhenge was a place for festivals of life, while Stonehenge was a place of death and ancestors. Donnington Walls, a huge Neolithic settlement, surrounded by an earthwork, located near Woodhenge. Evidence from Donnington Walls suggests that it was home to large numbers of people at certain times of the year, with traces of large feasts. Thousands of animal bones, mainly pigs and cattle, along with pottery have been found. The connections between Stonehenge, Woodhenge, and Donnington Walls suggest a vivid picture of large-scale ritual and festival activities. It is believed that on the summer and winter solstice occasions, thousands of people from across prehistoric Britain made pilgrimages to the Salisbury area. They would have lived and feasted at Donnington Walls and Woodhenge, then marched along the avenue to Stonehenge, where the most important ceremonies took place. Recent research suggests that, on the summer solstice, these people would have celebrated life, fertility, and the rising sun, associated with Woodhenge and the River Avon. On the winter solstice, they would have held ceremonies related to death, ancestors, and the setting sun, centered on Stonehenge. This suggests that Stonehenge was not just a physical structure, but a spiritual center that bound communities together, a place where beliefs, traditions, and social solidarity were reinforced through shared rituals. 3. Stonehenge and healing purposes. Another theory, supported by some archaeologists, is that Stonehenge, and in particular the bluestones, may have had a connection to healing. The bluestones are said to have special sonic or energetic properties, and some of the stones have been found to have been chiseled with metal objects, possibly by pilgrims who took small pieces of the stones as amulets. In addition, at the source of the bluestones in the Preseli Hills of Wales, there are many holy springs and ancient healing sites. This suggests that the builders of Stonehenge may have believed in the healing powers of these stones and brought them back to create a sacred healing center in Salisbury. Whether it was an observatory, a sacred burial ground, a festival center, or a healing place, it is clear that Stonehenge was not a single-purpose structure. It is a multifaceted symbol of prehistoric beliefs, knowledge, and social organization. It reflects a complex worldview where humans sought to align themselves with the cycles of nature, honor their ancestors, and seek meaning in life and death. These stones have witnessed countless sunrises and sunsets, countless festivals and rituals, countless lives born and ended. They are silent guardians of a lost era, still whispering the secrets of ancient beliefs, inviting us to delve deeper into what shaped the minds and souls of prehistoric man. Souls who have joined us in exploring the wisdom and faith of the builders of Stonehenge, we now come face to face with one of its most haunting mysteries, its silence. Why was such a monument abandoned, or at least no longer used for its original purpose, and where did its builders eventually go? Was there a curse cast upon the ancient stones, or was it simply the relentless flow of history? From around 1500 BC onwards, the construction and use of Stonehenge appears to have gradually subsided. There is no clear evidence of a catastrophic event such as war or plague that wiped out the builders. Instead, the change was probably gradual, due to a combination of factors: social and cultural change. The Bronze Age in Britain saw major social changes. Communities may have become more dispersed, or focused on other forms of living. Beliefs and religions may have evolved, making the rituals at Stonehenge less relevant or important. The rise of new centers of power or trade may have also overshadowed Stonehenge's role. Resource depletion. The construction of Stonehenge required large amounts of resources, particularly timber to transport the stones and firewood for community activities. After thousands of years of exploitation, these resources may have been depleted, making it difficult to sustain large-scale operations. Environmental change. While there is no evidence of major climate change, small changes in the environment or agriculture may have affected the lives of people and their ability to support a monument as large as Stonehenge. Whatever the cause, the people who spent thousands of years building and maintaining Stonehenge eventually disappeared or were assimilated, leaving their work in silence, a mysterious relic for future generations. However, for a monument as grand and enigmatic as Stonehenge, the lack of a clear explanation has given rise to countless theories, including ideas that go far beyond the boundaries of conventional science, aliens, or lost advanced technology. This is one of the most popular theories in popular culture. It suggests that prehistoric people could not have built Stonehenge on their own with their primitive technology. Therefore, there must have been intervention from an extraterrestrial civilization, or from some other lost civilization, that possessed advanced technology, such as energy fields, magnetic forces, or sound waves, to move and lift the giant stones. This theory is often dismissed by the scientific community due to lack of concrete evidence. But it still stimulates the imagination of many people. Magic, wizardry, or occult powers. Folklore has long attributed supernatural powers to Stonehenge. Stories of Merlin and giants bringing the stone from Ireland, or of Celtic priests, druids, using it for magical rituals, are deeply ingrained in British culture. While the ancient druids may have used Stonehenge, they arrived thousands of years after it was built. However, the idea of some mystical or magical energy source associated with Stonehenge remains intriguing. Astral portal or cosmic power point. Some believe that Stonehenge may be a teleportation portal, an energy junction with the Earth, or a communication device with other dimensions. This theory is based on the ideas of ley lines, invisible energy lines connecting ancient monuments, and the alignment of Stonehenge with astronomical points, giant clock for catastrophic events. Another theory suggests that Stonehenge may have been a kind of astronomical death clock, built to warn of catastrophic cosmic events such as meteorite impacts or major changes in planetary cycles. While these theories may go far beyond what science can prove, they reflect something fundamental about human nature, the insatiable desire to explain the extraordinary. When faced with a monument that we cannot easily understand with our current technology, our imaginations run wild, searching for explanations beyond our wildest imaginations. Stonehenge, with its mysterious silence, continues to stand as a symbol of defiance. It is a legacy of a lost civilization, a reminder that even the greatest structures can be lost to time and oblivion. But that silence is also the inspiration for countless theories, from the scientific to the supernatural, that continue to feed our curiosity and desire to explore. Over the past 5 parts, we have explored the main aspects of Stonehenge, from how it was built to its possible purpose, a timeless construction feat. We have witnessed the extraordinary perseverance and intelligence of the anonymous stonemasons who spent hundreds, even thousands of years quarrying and transporting the giant Sasson stones and especially the bluestones from faraway Wales to Salisbury. An ancient astronomical observatory, this theory is strongly supported by the precise alignment of Stonehenge with the summer and winter solstice suns. It shows that prehistoric people were not only builders but also talented astronomers, deciphering the cycles of the celestial bodies to serve agriculture. Beliefs, or important events of the year, ancestral temple and ceremonial center, evidence of cremated remains, connections to Woodhenge and Dillington walls, and traces of large feasts, suggest that Stonehenge was an important spiritual center. It may have been a sacred burial ground, a place to honor ancestors, and a gathering point for large communal ceremonies and festivals, binding tribes together. Hypotheses beyond reality. The silence of history has opened the door to countless paranormal theories, from alien intervention, lost advanced technology, to magic or supernatural energy. Although lacking scientific evidence, these theories reflect the natural human desire to explain the extraordinary. Mysterious fate. Ultimately, the builders of Stonehenge disappeared or were assimilated, leaving their work in silence, a mysterious monument for posterity. Their decline may be due to social, cultural, or environmental changes. Stonehenge is more than just a pile of ancient stones. It is a majestic symbol of ancient wisdom and human resilience. It shows us that, even in what we consider primitive times, humans possessed the capacity for complex thought, high organizational skills, and a deep desire to understand the world, their place in the cosmos, and the meaning of life and death. This monument is a reminder that human history is much more complex and diverse than we often imagine. It challenges us to broaden our horizons, to accept that ancient civilizations may have reached heights of knowledge and technology that we cannot yet fully understand. What is most fascinating about Stonehenge is not only its unsolved mysteries, but also its continued appeal to our desire to explore. Just as prehistoric people looked up at the sky and tried to decipher it, we today continue to ask questions, search for evidence, and try to piece together the fragments of the past. Stonehenge is a beacon of mystery, a reminder that the world, with its ancient heritage and its undiscovered wonders, is greater than any imagination. It invites us to believe in the impossible, and to continue our endless journey into the sea of mystery. As you gaze upon the towering stones of Stonehenge, listen. Perhaps, in the whisper of the wind between the stones, you will hear the stories of those who lived and died thousands of years ago, an eternal call from the stone, forever urging us to seek the truth and contemplate the great heritage of humanity.